masterclass, please leave a 1 in the chat. I can see a couple of us, and I'd like to know if you can also, just leave a response in the chat. So, Marafa Senator, it's good to have you here. Hi, Calvin. It's a pleasure having you here, right? So I'm Priscilla, and I'm joining you from Lagos, Nigeria. So you might just want to tell me where you're also joining in from, right? So Calvin, Marafa, where are you joining us from? Just anywhere, just leave a location. So one good thing about sessions like this is you get to meet people from all over the world, right? And then you get to be in the same space with them and learning alongside them, right? So like I mentioned, Marafa from Jalingo, Taraba State, you're highly welcome, all right? This session is brought to you by Tanalytics, and I'm just going to, this is your first time joining us. For those of us that have been here before, I know you've heard about Tanalytics and it sounded like music to your ear rather. So what I'm going to tell you about Tanalytics briefly and what we do here at Tanalytics. So I'll share my screen again and walk you through who we are and what we do at Tanalytics. So yes, today, like I mentioned, we'll be talking about how you can track your company's performance through financial metrics using Power BI, right? For some of us, this might be the first time that we're getting to hear of Power BI, but don't worry, you get to see the power that Power BI wields today, right? So who are we at Tanalytics and what do we do, right? So Tanalytics is an educational technology company, and we help people of the Black community and Africans transition into tech by lowering the entry barrier into tech. Now, what EdTech firms do is they bring education closer to you. You are able to learn in the comfort of your homes and wherever you choose to, right? So we are one EdTech firm that is focused on helping Africans and people of the Black community get into tech. And the way we do this is by lowering the entry barrier into tech. Now, it doesn't have to take you so much. You don't have to break an arm to get into tech, right? So our service offerings are aimed at building capacity and understanding across different tech fields, including data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, which is why we're here today, HR analytics, and the entire data ecosystem, right? And this is to enable our clients to achieve data-driven decision making. We're able to do this. We're able to help you transition into tech by employing the services of really top professional facilitators from diverse sectors and reputable organizations like Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey and Company, Amazon, PwC, Deloitte, and the likes, right? So our courses are also structured in a way that makes it practical and ensures that you get optimal value. So if you've been wondering, how do I get into tech? What EdTech service do I employ? How do I transition? How do I get my first job in tech? Tanalytics is your go-to place, right? And tonight, within the next 2 hours, you're going to learn how you can track a company's performance through financial metrics using Power BI. And yeah, the founders of Tanalytics. We have Adeza Suleiman. If you joined earlier, you have seen me playing a video, an intro of Tanalytics, and that was done by Adeza, right? And then we have a Femena Iper. So we have Adeza here already, is going to champion the session. So I need you to just do one thing. If you just get your notepad and pen, right? You're going to be picking Adeza's brain today. So get your notepad and pen and just jot down things, right? And then we're going to also have question and answer sessions. And when it's time for that, you can go ahead to ask your questions. So hi, Adeza, good evening.
Yeah, hello, Priscilla. Thank you for that fantastic presentation.
You're welcome.
So, all right, I'll just take it over from here. So good evening, everybody. Today we'll be getting into Power BI, all right? For some of you that have used Power BI before, or if you've never used Power BI, we'll see how to use Power BI to do very quick analysis on some specific financial metrics. And I'm not going to be doing this alone, and I want you to also participate. When I ask questions, I'd expect you to also, let's have a conversational session today, providing answers to some of the questions I would have for you. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And like what we always say is, if you have questions across any single area within the tech ecosystem, please feel free to ask your questions, and I'll be very, very happy to answer those questions. All right. Now let's dive into the main meat of our session. I'll do a very quick introduction. I know Priscilla has introduced me already, but just a very quick introduction. I'm the founder of Tenalytics with close to a decade years of experience in the tech ecosystem. I'm a data analytics expert, and I've worked across 5 different sectors, from energy to financial services to sports and so on and so forth. And I've also worked as a data science consultant for companies in the US and in the UK. And I've trained and helped over 2,000 people, transition into the tech ecosystem. And that's what we stand for at Tenalytics, helping the people of the Black community to transition into tech. So like I said earlier, I'd love to have a conversation with you, and let's have an amazing session where you also get to contribute, and then I get to ask questions along the line. Our session will cut across 3 different phases. The first phase is a practical case study where we'll look at some, financial metrics and just see what Power BI can do. And then how do you get started as a financial analyst? All right. It's very important that you know the skills required, because a lot of people mix it up, and then they learn things that they really don't need. So what I'll be doing today is to demystify that area for you. And secondly, I'll also show you the strategies you need to employ in order to get a job. Okay, and the reason why you are probably applying to jobs and you're not getting any positive feedback. We'll be looking at that area too. And lastly, I'll introduce you to our financial analytics program that starts on the 3rd of February, 2024. That's next week, Saturday. All right, so let's get started with our session. Now, we're going to look at a case scenario, like I mentioned, using Power BI. I'll show you the data, what the data looks like. It's a sample financial data, and we'll look at the data, and then we'll try to come up with some questions and answer those questions. Now, the data is for a company called Electra Incorporated. They produce bikes. Okay, so I'm just going to change this, Optimizing Electra Inc. Okay, Optimizing Electra. So Electra manufactures bikes, electric bikes, okay? And they have a diverse product line, number one. But there are key areas of the business that they're not very aware of. And this happens with so many organizations, okay? You are doing a lot of work, but you really don't have a good picture of what you are doing, where you are with regards to your revenue, your cost of goods, your profit margin, and so on and so forth, okay? And these are the things that we want to address for this particular organization. So the company is worried about its financial performance and wants us to help analyze its performance. We're going to look at 3 very important metrics today. Number 1, we'll look at profitability metrics. And to be specific about the profitability metrics, would go into the profit margin. And the company has a profit margin target of 20%. And they want to know the location that generates the highest profit margin. So if profit margin is important to the business, which location gives us the highest profit margin? And maybe perhaps we can target those areas to maximize our profits. Number 2, we want to know, we're going to look at the sales performance metrics, and we'll just simply see the sales trend. The sales trend month on month, all through the years. And when do we generate the highest revenue? So these are some of the questions that we're going to answer today. And number 3, we'll look at the discount impact analysis. So most of the time, organizations give discounts. However, they don't know how the discount affects the business. Okay, so we'll do a very quick discount impact analysis to see if the company should keep giving discounts, and to also see if the discount leads to increased sales. Okay, so sometimes you see organizations giving discounts, but you want to know, does it lead to increase in sales or not? We're going to find out today. All right. And to get to the data set, I've left the link for you, and I'll drop the link in the chat for the benefit of those that would also like to practice with me. Okay. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you have access to the data set. So I'm just going to type that in, data set, and I'll drop the link in there. Okay. So you have access to the data, but of course, we're going to look at it together as well. And all you have to do is click on this link. So at the end of the session, you'll receive the slides with the link and you can access it. Okay, so I'll click on this link and then it takes me into where I have the data, and I'm just going to download it from there. Okay, so let's see what it looks like first of all. All right, so this is what the data looks like. Now, this particular organization, again, manufactures bikes, electronic bikes, okay? So they manufacture to different segments. And across the different segments, you can see they sell to channel partners, enterprise, government, mid-market, and small business. So there are different segments where this particular organization sells to. You have the country as well, the different countries. And if we click on the drop down, the filter, you'd see Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, and the US. And of course, the product, the different product names, the discount band. So because they give discounts, they've also created categories for those discounts. Some discounts are high discounts, okay? So you have the high, you have the low, you have the medium, and you have none, all right? So there are some products where they don't give discounts. There are some where they give high discounts, medium discounts, and low discount. So we're going to check to see when we are doing our discount impact analysis to also find out and see where this particular organization is likely optimizing or not, if they should continue doing the discounts or stop. All right. Units sold, which means the number of units they sell, manufacturing price, the sales price, and gross sales. So the gross sales is simply the top line, their revenue, the revenue of this company without taking out anything else, okay? So the revenue without any deductions is the gross sales. Now you have the discounts, the discount the company has given. And if we scroll down, you'll see some of the values, right? And you can see that you have amounts that have been discounted for certain products. Now you have the sales. So when the company sells, the gross sales, they take out the discounts, you have sales, okay, which is the net sales. That's less the discounts. And then you have cost of goods, the COGS. And the cost of goods is simply, oh, sorry about that. The cost of goods is simply the costs associated to direct costs for manufacturing or producing the bikes. So all the costs that are directly related to producing the bikes, for example, the labor, the people that manufacture the bikes, the raw materials, okay? So the costs of manufacturing the bikes, you have them here too. You have the dates in which the bikes were sold, the month number, the month name, and the year, okay? So this is what our data looks like. Now remember, we are focused on the financial metrics. We want to see the profitability metrics, okay? Are we profitable? What's the profit margin? And which country gives us the highest profit margin? So perhaps we could focus more on that part, on those countries that give us the highest profit margin, okay? We also want to see the sales trend. So how well do we sell? When do we sell the highest? And of course, we'll do the discount impact analysis. If we did not give a discount or we stop giving a discount, are we going to make more money or are we going to make less? Does the discount increase the number of units sold or does it decrease or reduce the number of units sold? So we're going to do a bit of this eventually, okay? All right, so let's get started. All right, I wanted us to look at the data. And how do you download this? Very simple. All you need to do, once you've clicked on the link and it brings you here, click on File. Okay, once you click on File, click on Save As. and then click on download a copy. Download a copy. So I click on download a copy, and then it downloads the data set for me. And you can see that financial sample. That's the title of the data set. So I'm just going to close this so that we can open up the file itself. Or we've seen the data already, and this is the data in my downloads. So when I download, it goes into my downloads, and I can see the data in here. All right, so you can see the data. It's an Excel file downloaded into my computer. So let's get Power BI and start. Please, can we get the data? I posted it in the chat, Chinyere. So I'm going to post it again, okay? So I'll post it again, Chinyere, so you have the data sets. Okay, so I just posted it, Chinyere. All right, now, for you to do this, you need to download and install Power BI, okay? Download and install Power BI. I have Power BI installed on my computer, so I'm just going to launch Power BI. So I go to my search, and then I type in Power BI, and then I click on Power BI to bring Power BI up, all right? Now, for those of you that don't have Power BI, installing Power BI is very, very straightforward. You just go on Google, do a search, download Power BI desktop, click on download, and installing is pretty straightforward. You just click on next, next, next until you have Power BI installed. But what I've also done is to leave the guideline on how to download and install. I've left it on the slides. So when you receive the slide, you can download and install Power BI yourself, okay? So once you launch Power BI, this is the very first thing that comes up. And I'm just going to close this at the top right because I don't need this cover page, okay? So like I said, if you don't have Power BI, it's not a problem. If you have Power BI, fantastic. How do you download? I have it on the slide. At the end of the session, you get it and you can download and install Power BI. So you don't need any experience to be here. You don't need to have done this before to be here as well, okay? Now that I know that my data is an Excel file, I need to bring the data into my Power BI, all right? I need to bring it into this platform, into this application, so I can start doing my analysis for the financial metrics, okay? So all I'll do is, at the top left corner, you'd see two quick buttons. The first one is Get Data, and right beside it, you have Excel Workbook. Now, because Excel is one of the common data sources, you'd see Excel right outside where you can bring data into Power BI, all right? But just in case for any reason you don't have Excel outside right on the tab here, all you need to do is go to Get Data, click on Get Data, and then you'd see the same Excel workbook. So these are the common data sources because Power BI can get data from different sources, from databases, from Dataverse, from the web, a website. You can connect your Power BI to the web and extract data from that website. You can get data from a CSV file. But today, our data is an Excel file. So I'm going to click on Excel Workbook, all right? And it takes me to my downloads. And the specific workbook that I want is the financial sample. Financial sample. So I click on that, and then I click on Open. All right, so it's a very straightforward process, nothing overly complicated, very, very straightforward. The moment you click on Open, what is Power BI doing? Power BI is going to your downloads folder and it is connecting to that Excel file so you can get the data into Power BI. That's simply what Power BI wants to do for you. Okay, that's simply what Power BI wants to do for you. So now it brings you to this navigator window. And you can see the financial sample. So you select what you want. This is a table and this is the sheet. All right, when we opened up that file, the data set, you have a table called financials, and then you have a sheet. I'm going to click on the sheets because that's what has the data that I need. You can see that segments, the location, the different countries, the products, the discount band, and so on and so forth. This is the data that I want to bring into Power BI. So I click on the tick box. to select it. You have to select what you want to bring. So I click on the tick box, and at the down right corner, I have three options. I have load, I have transform, and then I have cancel. I'm going to explain what you need to click on by giving you a very quick explanation, okay? A very quick explanation. Now, when working with Power BI, you follow a process we call ETL, okay? ETL. I'm trying to look for where I can type into, let me see if I can write. Okay, let me just type that into the chat. So there's a process called ETL, extract, transform, and load. Let me type it out here so that we can all see what I'm saying. Okay, ETL. Please remember this. E is for extract, transform, and load. Very important. Okay, now extract is simply you going into a data source where the data is located. You are going into that data source to get the data from that place. So when we clicked on Excel workbook, Power BI went into my downloads folder and got the data for me that I want to bring into Power BI. But before I bring it into Power BI, I've done the extract by going into download, selecting the file I want to bring in, and Power BI wants to bring it for me. So I've extracted my data from that Excel file in my downloads folder. Now, the transform is where, as an analyst, never forget this, your data is likely not going to be in the right shape or in the right form for your analysis. So it is important that you do what? You transform. And transformation is simply where if your data is dirty, you want to clean the data. If you need to change your date format, if your date location is US and the date is in the UK date format, you want to change the format. You want to put the data in the right shape for analysis, and that is where you transform your data. After transforming the data is when you load the data sets. Okay, so you follow this process. It's a flow: extract, transform, and load. Very important. Okay, so we've extracted. The next step is for us to, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to go back to Power BI, and you tell me, at the down right corner, I have load, I have transform data, and I have cancel. Which of these three options should I select based on what I just explained to you? Type it into the chat. Can I explain transform? Very good. WH, transform is simply where you are putting your data in the right shape for analysis, because most of the time, your data will not be in the right shape. You might have dirt in your data. So there is dirty data, and dirts are simply characters that you don't want to be in that data set. So you want to take them out. Okay, so that's dirt in your data. So when you have that, you want to take them out. You want to ensure that your data is in the right shape for analysis, and that's the transform that you have to do. So thank you very much, guys. Absolutely amazing. We're all together. So we don't load directly. You what? Transform. So I click on transform, and whenever you click on transform, it takes you to the engine that helps you to transform inside Power BI, which is the Power Query Editor. Our data is clean. Our data is good. So we are not going to take time transforming the data. Okay, not in a session like this. If not, we spend a lot of time here. Okay, so the data is clean, the data is good. So we are not transforming. However, in real life scenario, you are likely going to have data that you would always have to transform. Okay, so the data, like I said, is very good, is very clean. We don't need to transform. The only thing I'm going to change is the name of the file. So instead of it to say sheet 1, I'm just going to change the name to what? Financials. Okay, I'll just change the name to financials and hit enter. And that's all I'm going to do. So in a real life Power BI class, for example, for those of you that have joined Analytics, or will join Tenalytics, you do a whole lot of transformation, all right, when you get to work with Power BI. So after you're done transforming, you come to the top left corner and click on Close and Apply. All right. So this is the end of that flow, that process I showed you. ETL, extract, transform, and load. So when you're done transforming, you go to Close and Apply, and this would load the data into Power BI. So I click on the drop down and I click on Close and Apply. And this closes that engine that helps us to transform, and it loads our data into Power BI. You'd see it loading. You can see that load. It is loading the data into Power BI for us. And all the things I've done so far, you can see that they are pretty straightforward, nothing technical, nothing out of place. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this, okay? Now that we've loaded our data, how do we know that the data is loaded? Very simple. If you look at the right-hand side under data, if you look at my mouse, you'd see where my mouse is hovering. You'd see data, and underneath data, you'd see what? Financials. You'd see what? Financials. Okay, so this shows us that we've imported and loaded our data into Power BI. Okay, now let's get to work. Remember, we are analysts, and we want to help the company answer 3 key questions today. Now, let's start with the very first question. Okay, let's start with the very first question. The very first question is the profitability metrics. Every organization wants to know if they're profitable or not, and they want to know where that profit also comes from. Okay, now we want to calculate the profit margin. And for us, the profit margin is simply a metric, a financial metric that is used to assess the profitability of a company. Okay, that is used to assess the profitability of a company. If a company makes $100 and it costs the company $80 to manufacture the bike. So let's assume this bike, the cost of manufacturing equals $80. And the company sells it for $100. So all the associated cost, every single thing associated with producing this bike and selling the bike, marketing, everything is $80. And the company sells it for $100. It means that the company would make a profit of $20. Okay, that's the profit. Now, what is the profit margin? The profit margin is simply assessing the profitability of this bike that we have sold. So the $20 that we made from selling this bike, the profits we made, we take that profit divided by the revenue that we got. So out of the $100 that we received, how much were we able to keep? So somebody pays you for something. You would spend out of that money to deliver that service. How much can you keep out of everything you have gotten for that particular product? So if you do the division, this gives you 0.2. Okay, so 20 divided by 100, it gives you 0.2. And if you convert this to percentage by multiplying it by 100 to convert it to a percentage, it gives us what? 20%. So what this simply means is you have a 20% profit margin. That's how profitable you are. So at the end of the day, you don't want to sell a particular product and go below 20%. And you can see that the target of this company is 20% for their profitability, looking at the profit margin. So we're going to check the data and find out if we can determine the profits of this organization based on the data that we have. So we can calculate the profit margin, number one, and number two, we can also determine the location that generates the highest profit margin. So let's go back to Power BI. Now, Power BI is very beautiful and fantastic. And one of the things you'd see with Power BI is at the left-hand side, you have the first tab you'd see is called the reports view, which is what we are currently on. And this is where we're going to, build and do all the things we need to do. Okay. The next tab after the reports view is called the table view or the data view. Table view or data view. And if I click on the table view, what do I see? I see my data in the shape of rows and columns. So I can see the data segments, country, product, discount band, units sold, manufacturing price, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to calculate profitability, the profit margin. And like we showed here, when we did this, we said the profit margin is simply your profits divided by your what? Your revenue. How much did you generate and how much did you keep as profits? So your profit divided by revenue. So going back to our data, we have our gross sales, which is sales before we took out any discounts or anything like that. This is how much we made. Okay, how much we made. And then we have discounts. We have sales, which is how much we eventually sold after discounts. And then we have cost of goods, which is the costs, what it cost us to manufacture that bike. If I want to calculate profits, I don't see any profits here. I cannot find profits. So profit does not exist. Okay, I can simply see, I can see gross sales, I can see discounts, I can see sales, I can see cost of goods, but I can't find profits. So I need to calculate the profits. And for me to calculate the profits, who can tell me how do I calculate my profits? From what we have here, how do I calculate my profits? How do I calculate profit? Just type it in the chat if you know. How do I calculate my profits? How do I calculate my profit? Net sales minus cost of goods. Femi, fantastic. Net sales minus cost of goods. Benson says sales minus cost of goods. Absolutely. So sales is the net sales. Like we said, sales is where we have taken out discounts. So imagine you give somebody 50,000 Naira discounts and you sold it for 150,000. So it means the person gets to pay just 100. Okay. So gross sales is the amounts that we sell. Discounts, we have given discounts, and then we have the net sales. So what I'm simply going to do, just like Benson advised, and Olayinka and Femi Babatunde, I'm going to do my calculation very quickly. Okay. So whenever you click on your data view here, you would see the data that looks like this. All right. So now that we've seen it, I'm going to go back and we're going to start calculating. We're going to start what? Calculating. But before we leave this place, let's quickly calculate profits. Let's quickly calculate profits for each product. And we can do this in multiple ways. Okay. But I'm not going to confuse you. Let's just do it here and you can see what we are doing. Right. So at the top of my table, you'd see the new column. Whenever you click anywhere on any table, you'd see the column tools, you'd see the table tools. You can use any of the two. If I use table tools, you'd see new column. All right. If I use column tools, you'd see new column. So you can use either of the two. Okay. So if I click on new column, it means I want to add a new column to my table. And this is called a calculated column because I'm creating a column by writing a calculation. So it's called a calculated column. Okay. So I can either do it here or I can do it outside the table, but let's just do it here. And I'm going to call this profits. So you see where I type, let me increase the size of this. So I type in profit equal to what? Just like you advised, sales. And as I type sales, you'd see it here, sales, not the gross sales, but the net sales. So sales minus, so you type the dash, the minus on your keyboard, sales minus what? COGS, cost of goods sold. So I'll type in COG, and of course you see the COGS come up, and I click on it. So profit equals sales minus cost of goods, and then I hit enter. And the moment I hit enter, I'm going to see a new column called what? Profit. A new column called what? Profit. And as simple as that, we've created a column called profit. And remember, we can do this in different ways. And I'm just showing you one way of doing it. And now that we've calculated profit, we're going to leave it here. So it means if I have my profit, I can calculate my profit margin. Okay? Because profits divided by revenue, that gives me my profit margin. So I'm going to click back on my report view to take me out of here. Is there anybody that doesn't know how we've gotten this done? DAX in play, Olaolu, absolutely. DAX in play. DAX in play. Yes, we can use a measure. Exactly, Jide, fantastic. So that's why I said we can do this in different ways. I can create this by creating a new column, using a measure, by just writing a measure, but I don't want to go into any complexity because of people who are totally new on this call, okay? Because of people who are totally new on this call. Can this be done on Excel? Absolutely. Femi, you can do it on Excel using either the Power Query. So we could have done this in the query editor, or we can do it using the Power Pivots. Either using the Power Query or using the Power Pivots. But this is one of the easiest ways you can do this, okay? One of the easiest ways. Now I'm going to click on, go back to my report view. And I would use what Jide suggested, which is creating a measure. What is a measure? A measure is simply a calculation that is done outside the table. So you see the profits that I calculated it inside the table. We can see that column. But now we are going to create two calculations, and we'll do that outside the table. Okay, so the calculations we want to create is total profits and total revenue. Okay, total profits, total revenue. That's what we want to calculate. And I'm going to use measures to create that. Measures. Ignore the fancy name. Measures are simply calculations that you write outside the table. Okay, just put that at the back of your mind. So I want to calculate total profits because guess what? I want to be able to, find the sum up all the profits for each product and sum up all the revenue we got for each product as well. And then I find the profit margin. Okay, so let's do that very quickly. All right, let's do that very quickly. So I'll go back to my report view, and the first thing I'll do is to find my total profits. And for me to create a measure, I'd go to my financials, right click on it, and you'd see new measure. Okay, new measure, and I click on new measure. And once I click on new measure, you have something that pops up from the top. Measure equal to. All right, and I'm just simply going to come here. I'll take out whatever I have there, and I'll type what? Total profits equal to. So total profits equal to what? Sum, S-U-M. So I'm using a sum function, and this is a DAX expression that I'm writing. So when you write calculations in Excel, you are using formulas and functions, all right? But when you write this in Power BI, you are writing DAX, D-A-X, data analysis expressions. Okay, so that's what we are writing. Now, for those of you that are used to Excel, you'd see that a lot of DAX functions are very similar to the functions you'd see in Power BI. Okay, so I want to use the sum function. And what do I want to sum? I want to sum the profits. So I'm going to type in profits, and I want to sum up what? The profits. So I click on profits. So total profits equals sum of profits in the financials table. And I close my bracket. Okay, so total profits equals sum of the profits colon. And that's all I need to do. And I hit enter. And this creates a calculation for me that sums up the entire profit. That sums up the what? The entire profit. All right. So that's our first calculation. Now I want to calculate my total revenue or the gross income. Okay. But I beg your pardon, the net sales, just like somebody rightly mentioned, the net sales. So the sales where we've taken out discounts and so on, we're going to use that so we can find the net profit margin. Okay, the net profit margin. So I'll create my total, my net sales. I'll click on financials, click on new measure. Okay, and this time around, I want net sales. Okay, so net sales equal to sum of what? Sales. Sum of what? The sales colon. All right, and I select that. As you type, you'd see the drop down, suggestions. As you type in names, you see the suggestions drop down. Okay, so I close the bracket. So give me the sum of the sales colon so I can calculate my net sales, and then I hit enter. Okay, so once I do that, I've also created something called net sales. All right, now what all these things I'm doing, I can create them using one single DAX expression. I don't need to do multiple calculations. But again, because there are new people to this on this call, if I write one single expression doing all of these calculations, you're going to get confused. So it's always good to start with baby steps. Find your total profits. You find your net sales. Now you can calculate your net profit margin. Okay, so we've calculated total profits, net sales. Let's calculate the net profit margin. So again, I'm going to create another calculation. I click on financials, new measure. All right, and this time around, I want my what? Net profit margin. Okay, because we use the net sales. We're using the net sales, so it has to be the net profit margin equal to. Now we are not summing up, because we know that profit margin is what? The profit divided by the net sales. Okay, so I'm using a divide. I'm using a what? Divide. So instead of using sum like we did, total profit, sum of profits, net sales, sum of sales. Now I want to calculate profits divided by net sales. So I'm going to use divide. And what is my numerator? My numerator is my what? Total profit. So as I type profit, I'll see it pop up. And I select that total profit. That is my numerator. What would be on top? And what is it going to be divided by? So total profits, comma. What is your denominator? The denominator is net sales. So I type in net sales, select net sales, and then I close my bracket. Okay, so my net profit margin equals total profits divided by net sales. That's what I've written here by using the divide function. Okay, so total profits divided by net sales, and then I hit enter. All right, and as I do this, you'd see those measures created inside where I have my table field, my data field at the right-hand side. So you can see the net profit margin, net sales, total profits, all the calculations we've created. You can see them here. Okay, and the beauty about Power BI is for you to display all the calculations you have created, you need to use a visual. All right, you need to use a visual. So and the visual we're going to use for this particular profit margin, because we want to know the profit margin. Okay, so we're going to use a visual called the card visual. Card. So I click on the card visual and you'll see it appear blank on my screen. Okay, so that's the card visual. All right, so I want to display the profit margin, the calculation I just did, net profit margin. I want it to be displayed here, all right? And all I need to do after inserting the card visual is go to my net profit margin, click on the tick box to select it, and it shows me 0.14 as a decimal, just like it did when we did our calculation in here. 20 divided by 100 will give us what? 0.2. The same way, our profits divided by the net sales give us a decimal, 0.14. But I'm going to convert this to percentage so we can see the percentage net profit margin, all right? So at the right-hand side, I'm going to click on my net profit margin, not on the tick box this time around. I'll just click on net profit margin, and at the top of my Power BI, you'd see the different formatting. And one of the formats I can use is a percentage format. So once you click on the net profit margin, this comes up. I'm going to click on percentage, and it converts 0.14 to percentage. And what percentage do I have? 14.23%. I want just one decimal place. So you can see the decimal place here that says 2 decimal places. And I would reduce it to 1 by clicking on this down. And I have 1 decimal place. And this is my net profit margin. Okay, and our net profit margin is 14.2. Number 1 question, we've answered a part of it. Now let's see if we have answered this question completely. I'll go back to the slide. It says that the company has a profit margin target of 20%. So whenever the company is done selling and so on, they want a profit margin of 20%. So my question to you, if the profit margin is 20%, is the company on the right track with a net profit margin of 14.2%? Can you just type that into the chat? Are they on track? Yes or no? Are they on track? Yes or no? It is below the target. Absolutely, Olaolu. They are not on target at all. All right, is below the target. No, no, no. Kelechi says no. Ransford says no. Femi says no. Absolutely. So we know that there is a problem. And this is why it's important for organizations to track their performance. So in an ideal setting, what happens? These data sets would be in a database. And all you have to do as a financial analyst is connect your Power BI to that database. You connect your Power BI to that database. Power BI can connect to numerous databases. Let me show you a glimpse before we continue. So when you go to Get Data, at the bottom of Get Data, you'd see More. Click on More, and it's going to show you more data sources you can connect to. So you can see this. Number 1 database you can connect to is what? A SQL Server database. So real time, whenever that database is updated, your report is also updated. So you can see at a glance that this company, we are not on track. We need to make changes on a constant basis. You can connect to a SQL Server database, Oracle database, IBM DB2 database, PostgreSQL database, MySQL, SAP HANA database, and so on, Google BigQuery. You can connect to numerous databases. And this is what makes Power BI absolutely fantastic. All right. So we've answered question number 1, 14.2%. Okay. I'm just going to put a border around this. I'll put a line around it. All right. So while clicked on this at the right-hand side under visualizations, you'll see this icon that says format. So formatting is just, you want to add colors, you want to add a line and so on. So I'm just going to add a line by clicking on format. I'll go to general, and where I'll go to effects, click on effects, and where you see border, visual border, I'm going to turn it on by clicking on this slider. okay? And by clicking on this visual border to turn it on, what I've just done is you can now see a line around that card. That's all I've done, okay? So let's leave this here for now. Question number 1 also wants us to check which country gives us the highest profit margin, okay? Sam says Mba. When I asked the question that are we met our target, he said Mba. So that's using some, Igbo language, and that's fantastic. All right. So the company is definitely not meeting its target. Now, we want to see the country that gives us the highest profit margin. Okay, the country that gives us the highest profit margin. And even though we are not meeting the targets, for those countries, can we maximize? Can we check and see opportunities in those areas? So I'll come back to the blank space. And all I need to do is let's use another visual called the clustered bar. So I come to my clustered bar, I click on clustered bar, and it gives me a blank visual as well. Okay, I can expand it, make it bigger. And here, what do I want to show? I want to show each country and its corresponding profit margin. And after adding my clustered bar by just clicking on clustered bar, I'll go to my data and I'll click on country to select it. And then I'll go to my profit margin that I calculated and also select it. And now I can see I have the different countries and its respective profit margin. Okay, but I can't see the numbers. So I want the numbers to display. So we can see for Germany that ranks number 1. I want to see the profit margin for Germany. Okay, so all I need to do is to go to format again at the right-hand side, click on format. All right, and where you see data labels, I'm going to turn it on. Data labels, I'll turn it on. And now I can see the numbers for each specific country. And I don't know if you can see this clearly. If you can see clearly, I want you to tell me which country generates the highest profit margin and what is the profit margin. Just type it in the chat. Just type it in the chat. Just type in the chat. And I can see a very good question from Kelechi here. Germany, absolutely. Germany has the highest. Germany has the highest, 15.7, fantastic, brilliant. So Germany gives us the highest profit margin, even though it's not up to the targets that we want. But Germany gives us the highest. And the lowest is United States, the US, at 12%. And this is where, as analysts, we start to ask key questions. So whenever you create a visual like this, or you do an analysis like this, it gives you the opportunity to ask more questions. Why is United States the least? And Germany, what are we doing in Germany to give us 15.7? And do we have opportunities for growth? So these are questions you start to ask, and you use the data that you have or get more data to supplement what you have to answer those questions. So question 1 is done and dusted. We've answered question number 1. Okay, but let me answer Kelechi's question. Kelechi is asking, how do I select the right type of chart? So this is what you do in a full Power BI class, because there is a class on data visualization. All right, and your class on data visualization goes beyond you just creating. It starts from you selecting the right type of charts that would communicate exactly what you want your stakeholders to see. Okay, so it's not something you learn within 30 minutes or 1 hour. It's a full class where you go into data visualization, the concept of data visualization, selecting the right charts, selecting the right colors. What are the principles behind charting? Okay, so you learn all these things in class, and we teach you all of that, Kelechi. Okay, so let's go to question number 2 very quickly and answer that, and question number 3, and then we come back to the slide and start to wrap up. So question number 2 is, sales performance metrics. We want to see the sales trend. Sales trend meaning that when do we sell the highest? When during the month or when during the year do we sell the highest? We want to know this. And this is showing a trend, which is January, February, March, April to December. I want to see the increase, the declines, and so on and so forth. So let's look at that. Okay, sales trend. When do we sell the highest revenue, or when do we generate the highest revenue? So I go back to my reports. Let me take this up here. Okay, let's just put this here for now. I'm going to take it back from here, but let's put it here for now. Let's answer the question when we generate the highest revenue. Remember, we've calculated our net sales already. Okay, we've calculated net sales, and we're going to use the net sales for this particular analysis. All right, so for a trend, going back to Kelechi's question, when you are showing trend, you want to show trend in the form of what? A line chart. All right, so this is what helps you select as well, Kelechi. So essentially, what am I saying? You want to show something that looks like this, Kelechi. So you have January, February, March, April, May, and so on. And you want to see your sales. It went up like this. In March, it came down. It was a bit steady in April, and in May, it went up again. So with this, you are showing something we call what? A trend. You can see the trend as it moves in month on month. And this is called a line chart. A what? Line chart. So these are some of the things that would help you select, Kelechi, what you want to communicate and the right type of charts to use. So you learn this during your data visualization class. All right, so let's select the line chart. So I click on line. Okay, click on the line chart, and we have something like this. I'm just going to increase it so we have more space. And what do I want to show here? I want to show the month and the trend up and down, how the revenue has gone across the company. So I'll simply select my dates because I have dates, correct? I select my dates, I click on it. Okay, and then I'll click on my what? Net sales. Click on net sales. And now I can see just a straight line, 2013 and 2014. The reason why I have just one straight line is because I have used my dates from my data set. And Power BI is intelligent to recognize dates. So once Power BI recognizes dates, what does it do? It creates hierarchy for the dates. And if you look at my x-axis in here, you'll see the hierarchy that Power BI has created for the dates. You have the year, you have the quarter, you have the month, and you have the day. So I can break down these charts into year. And that's the very first thing it's showing us, the year, 2013 and 2014. I can break it down into quarters, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, for both 2013 and 2014. And I can break it into months to show me in month and further break it down into days. And this is the hierarchy of the dates that Power BI creates for us automatically. So how do I break it down? At the top of your chart, you'd see this arrow that looks like 2 arrows pointing down. Okay, so it looks like this. Let me draw it here very quickly. The arrow looks like this. So you see that on top of your chart, and that's the arrow you want to use. So I'll come to this arrow that says expand all one level in the hierarchy. So I click on that arrow, and you can see it breaks it down one level down. I click on it again, and it breaks it down another level below. I can click on it again. Okay, it didn't break it down this time around. You can click up if you want to drill up. So you've broken it down. What if you want to build it up again? Can you build it up? Yes. You click on drill up. Drill up, it drills it up back again. You get to where you started from. Okay, so I'm going to drill it down until I get to this particular visual. And let's look at this very carefully. Look at this carefully. Okay, and this is our sales trend. I want you to tell me, when have we generated the highest revenue? When did we generate the highest revenue? When did we generate the highest revenue? Okay, so you have September, you have October, you have November, you have December. Okay, September, October, November, December. So when did we generate the highest revenue? By just looking at it. October, absolutely fantastic. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Akintunde, Nafisat, Pemi, Yusuf, Wale, Sulaiman, Musa, Gabi. Brilliant, fantastic. So the highest revenue was generated in October. And then there was a drastic decline in November, which is a problem. Every company would want to find out, why did we have this drastic decline? Okay, and you need to investigate. So you are simply showing what has happened in the company, what the company currently has, based on the questions that we are answering. This is what has happened in the company. So let's move this to the right-hand side. Okay, I'm just going to move this here. Let's move this up a little bit. I'm going to resize it a bit. And this is our sales trend. Okay, this is our sales trend. We're not designing anything because of time. We're just going to leave it the way it is without any much designs and so on, formatting. All right, so this is the sales trend, and we can see that, like you rightly said, October has the highest, followed by December, but something happened in November. Okay, also September 2013, we had, very poor performance in terms of sales. So we've answered question number 2. And now we are going to the last question, which is question number 3. And question number 3 involves us to do a little bit of discount impact. Now remember that this company has given discounts, okay? And after giving discounts, that would definitely affect your performance, because you are taking out of your potential profits to give to your customers as discounts. And most of the time, why do companies give discounts? Type into the chat. Why do you think companies give discounts most of the time? Type it into the chat. Okay? Why do you think company gives discounts? To increase sales, to attract more customers, for incremental sales. Fantastic. To encourage more sales, loyalty. I love that. To encourage them to buy. Brilliant. So now that we know why companies give discounts, we want to check, has the discounts we've given led to increased sales? Okay, and we're not going to look at it from the aspect of revenue. We're going to look at it from quantity. From what? Quantity. So when you give discount, you expect the numbers to increase. If you sell maybe 5 items, you give discount, you expect to do 10 because people would buy more because it is cheaper. Okay, so we're going to find out if companies are actually, if the company has actually gotten more sales from discounts or not. And because the discount also has different categories, high, low, medium, we're also going to check. When we give high discounts, does our profit margin increase or does it decrease? Okay, and when we give no discounts and when we give medium discounts, we want to just quickly see fairly what happens. But first of all, let's see what happens with regards to increase in quantity. Okay, so I'll go back to my Power BI. All right, now for me to do this, I need to write 2 calculations. I need to know my total discounts, the total discounts I have given, number 1, and I need to do my total units sold. Total units sold, because I want to see if the units sold increased when we gave discounts. Okay, so I want to aggregate my discounts and also aggregates the units sold. And I can then visualize it just the same way we have visualized this. All right. We can do it without the visual, and I'll show you very quickly. Let's do it without the visual. So I beg your pardon. Let's do it without the calculation. Okay. We can do it with the calculation or without the calculation. We can actually get it done. So what I'm going to do is I will use this same line chart that I've created, because I don't want to create it again from scratch. Because what do I want to see? I want to see my discounts, and I also want to see the quantity. So when I give discounts, does quantity increase or does it decrease? So I'm going to copy and paste this particular line chart to duplicate. So I click on it, called Ctrl+C to copy, Ctrl+V to paste, and I drag it down. All right, so I have a duplicate of what is on top. But this time around, I don't want the net sales, because what we have there is what? Net sales. I don't want the net sales. So I'm going to click on the X to take out net sales. So I click on X, and that takes out the net sales. What do I want? I want my discounts. Okay, so you can see the discounts in my table. It's best for you to aggregate, which means you write a measure, just like we did, to calculate total discounts equal sum of discounts. However, Power BI can still calculate it for us without that measure, okay? And when Power BI calculates for you, without you writing the calculation yourself, it is called implicit measure, implicit. So Power BI is doing it for you, all right? Implicit. Let me write it here so you take note of that. Implicit measures. So implicit measures are simply those calculations Power BI would do for you without you writing it yourself. You saw the calculations we wrote: total profits, net profit margin, profit divided by net sales. We did those calculations ourselves. Those calculations are called explicit. So they are called explicit measures. So when you write those measures yourself, they are explicit. You are explicitly doing it yourself. But when Power BI does it for you, it's called implicit measures. So this is just, by the way, just for you to have an idea of that. When I say we can either write the calculations or we don't write the calculations. When we don't write it and Power BI does it for us, those are implicit measures. So I can simply just click on discounts, okay? And then we'll see discounts appear. But I don't just want to see the discounts. I want to see the units sold. So for each period when we gave discounts, I want to see the corresponding number of units sold. So I go to units sold, and I click on units sold as well. All right. But when I click on units sold, what happened? It took it to the same axis as the discounts, but I don't want that because it doesn't represent it properly. So what I'm going to do is to take it to the secondary y-axis. Instead of on the same axis as discounts, I'll drag units sold, click on it and drag it like this, and drop it under where? Secondary y-axis. And when I do that, I have something like this. Now let's look at this carefully. I'm going to expand it so that it is bigger and we can see it better, okay? And one way of focusing, you can focus on a particular visual. How do you focus? You see this icon at the top right. It says focus mode, focus mode. I click on focus mode, and this expands the visual for us. It makes it bigger. You can go back by clicking on back. Okay? Now, I want us to look at this thing very carefully. Let's look at it carefully. Okay? The dark blue color is the sum of units, the number of units we sold. While the lighter shade is what? The discounts that we have given. Okay? So the lighter blue is the discount. The darker blue is what? The units sold. I want somebody who is confident to unmute and tell us what you think. Has increase in discounts really led to increase in number of units sold? Has increase in discounts really led to number of units sold. Okay, I want somebody who can unmute and just tell us very quickly what they think. All right, and all you need to do is look at the light blue, where the discounts increase. Do you have increase in number of units? When discounts decreases, do you have decrease in number of units? So those are the things you want to look at to help you determine. Okay, so is there anybody who would like to walk us through that very quickly? Let's see. If you want to, you can just raise your hand. I would ask you to unmute yourself and just tell us what you think. Akintunde, do you want to unmute? I would allow you to unmute yourself very quickly. Okay, Taiwo. Let's take Taiwo. Taiwo, go ahead, please.
Okay, based on the chart, I can see that once there is a discount, it doesn't bring a positive change in the increase of quantity sold. But from what I'm seeing here again on the second side, I can see that when there's no discount, we have a lot of sales, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Taiwo. So Taiwo is seeing some certain patterns. All right. Emmanuel says no significant difference. Olaolu says no, it doesn't affect number of units sold. Same with Akintunde. And I agree with you in terms of it is not explicit in the sense that when discount increases, and let's look at it carefully, okay? Now, in the month of September, discount was very low. You can see the light blue color, very low. You can also see number of units sold very low as well, okay? Low number of units, low discounts. But now let's look at the month of October. Discounts increased, and what happened? When discounts increased, you also have increase in what? Units sold. So the discounts made an impact in October. In November, you had further increase in discounts. In fact, very high. But what happened? Number of units sold declined sharply. From October, it declined sharply in November. So for this month of November 2013, even though we had high discounts given, a whole lot of money was given as discounts to customers. However, look at the corresponding number of units also reduced. Okay, so there are ways we can look at these things. We can look at it with number of units sold. We can look at it with revenue. We can look at it with profits, profit margin, and so on. And that gives us a very good picture if we need to revisit our discount strategy. But for now, we can see that the month of November, there was no impact of the discounts. Now, if you look at January, there was increase in discount, also increase in quantity. And if you look all through the months, also looking at the month of December 2014, you can see very high increase in number of units sold. However, you don't have a significant discount to match that increase. So there might not be direct relationship between increase in discount and also increase in units sold. But it's good for you to also test with revenue. That's with your nets, with your gross sales, test it with your profit margin to see if it has any impact as well. The last thing we're going to do before we move out of here is to see the profit margin by the discount band. Remember the discount band, we have high, low, medium, and so on. So I'm going to use this same chart that I have here, and I don't want to create it from scratch, or we can create it from scratch. It really doesn't matter. But let's create it from scratch, okay? So I'll just come down here. I'll use the same clustered bar, click on it, and it brings it blank for me, okay? And what do I want to see here? I want to see the discount band. So I click on discount band, and then I want to see my what? Net profit margin. So when I have high discounts, if I have high sales, it means my profits could also increase. So let's click on net profit margin, and let's see what we have here. And this is our net profit margin by discount band. And we can see that whenever we give high discounts, what happens? Our net profit decreases significantly to what? 9.1%. Remember that our net profits, our target, the net profit margin should be 20%. And when we don't give discounts at all, we have a net profit margin of what? 21.9%. When we give low discounts, we have what? 17.9. And when we give medium discounts, we have 14.4. Now, in your opinion, which of course, this might not be, I would say this is not the final answer, if I could use that word. But looking at it on the face value, because when you see things like this, you start to ask questions. You don't conclude immediately. You start to ask questions and dive a little bit deeper into the data, okay? And see the products that, that you can attribute to the high discount. Which specific products did we sell, to generate the high discounts and give us a very low profit margin like this? But for looking at it on the face value, what would you advise this company? Whenever you don't give discounts, your profit margin is at 21.9% on the average, above the target. What would you advise? All right, and please feel free to say your mind the way it is. Nobody is wrong. Okay, Jane, please go on. I've asked you to unmute yourself.
Okay, I think it is not discount that drives sales for this company. The customers decide to buy or not to buy for some other reasons. It could be preferences, seasonal, whatever, but definitely not discount. The pricing is not the driving factor for their sales. So they should also be looking at other reasons why customers are not buying at a particular point, but it is not discount. So it's not a significant variable for them to make a decision.
Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant suggestion, Jane. And thank you very much for that. I think that was a fantastic submission. Now, one thing the company might want to look at beyond just the discounts might be, let's look at our price points, really. What's our pricing? Let's analyze, let's do some pricing analysis and see the exact price point at which our customers would come to us. Okay, you might also want to look at the fact, just like Jane said, maybe that's not the factor that drives sales. What actually drives sales for us? We want to find out. We also want to know the times we gave discounts, did we get more customers? Because if you have more customers and you can have repeat customers or referrals, it means that you might not get the benefits today, but you could get it in the future, right? In the nearest future. So these are questions you want to ask. And you can get more data about customers to find out the customers that could give you, if you got more customers when you gave discounts, and if there is a possibility of having loyal customers that come back to you as repeat customers or get you referrals. And this is us answering 3 questions for this company. And the company has better clarity to the extent that Jane can recommend and tell them, look, this might not be the problem. Yeah, this might not be the reason why we are making losses or we are getting our good revenue. We can see clearly that whenever we don't give any discounts, we meet our target of 20% or even surpass it. So we need to look inwards and find more things or more insights from the data that we have. And if we don't have the data, we need to get the data to help us answer these questions. And this is what the financial analyst would do, focusing on the organization, helping them answer financial related questions. And that's what one of your activities or one of your tasks as a financial analyst. Your objective is helping organizations, helping companies analyze financial data. What should we do going forward with our pricing? What's our profit margin? Are we meeting our targets? What is the budget? The revenue for Q1. January has almost ended. All right. So what did we budget for January? What have we achieved? What's the budget versus actual? And these are the type of analysis you'll be doing as a financial analyst. All right, so let's move on with the rest of the slides and let's quickly try to wrap up with the rest. So how do you become a financial analyst? What do you need to know? What do you need to learn? First of all, you want to establish that financial analytics is a career path that is very, very high in demand. And one of the ways you establish this is by looking at the Future of Jobs reports. We were on an Instagram live. I had to leave because I needed to come to meet you guys and for us to have this conversation. And one of the things we do as a company is we analyze to see what the projection for different career paths would look like. And one of the reports we always love to use is the World Economic Forum reports, the Future of Jobs reports by the World Economic Forum, okay? Because this gives you insight into the jobs that will be relevant in the nearest future. And financial analysis is one of them, okay? Now, you have AI, business intelligence, information security, data analysts, data science, data engineers, and these are roles that will grow in demand. And at the right-hand side are roles that will decline in demand. So if your career plan is to become an investment fund manager, you can rest assured that that particular career path will decline in the next few years. If you want to become a product manager, which a lot of people want to do today, but the reality is it's a declining career path. A product manager has to transition into other roles today. And interestingly, if you read these reports, you realize that you actually need to make changes to what you currently do. Accounting is also one of the career paths that will decline in the future. And I'm going to, it's not my reports, it's the report from the World Economic Forum. I remember one time I said this and the accountants came for me, the accountants, the auditors, but it's here. Okay, jobs that will grow in demand and jobs that will decline. And the World Economic Forum have been very, very accurate. Right from 2016, when they started doing this. Now, financial analysis is one of the career paths. So you have project manager roles that will grow in demand. And then you have financial analysts also falls within the career path that will grow in demand. So if you want to transition, all right, you're fresh out of the university, you want to get a job in the field where you can analyze financial data and transition into financial analytics. It's a fantastic career path for you to consider. You can see the lawyers is going to decline. Okay, accountants and auditors are jobs that will decline. So the question is, why would accountants and auditors, why would their roles decline? And that's simply because the modern accountants are not just your conventional accountants. They are data-driven accountants. They are accountants that can use Power BI to automate their financial reports. They are accountants that knows how to use the database. They understand SQL, getting data from a database to do the analysis. They do more than just accounting, all right? So it's important. Software testers, another role that is popular. However, it's going to go down in demand, is declining in demand over the next few years. So you can't be transitioning into a new career path and not do that from the point of knowledge and research, all right? And that's why financial analytics is one of the most important career paths you can get into, because you can also be confident that your skills will be relevant and would also grow in demand in the next few years. So I've left the link for you. When you receive the slide, check out this particular analysis and read on it, okay? And that'll give you a lot of insights into how you structure your transition journey eventually. So how do you secure jobs across the globe as a financial analyst? What must you do? And this is where I introduce you to a principle that we always deploy at Analytics called the SAS principle. And the first S is what? Show your workings. I was explaining this earlier this evening while on an Instagram live, all right? Recruiters want to see that you can do the job. Recruiters want to know that you have the skills and you have done this before, which comes with experience. They want to see that experience from you, that you have done it before. And a lot of people make the mistake of chasing certificates before you learn the skill. All right. Remember this, if you don't take anything away from today's session, it is always competence over credentials. No recruiter cares about your certificates. What they care about is, have you done this before? Tell me how you've done it. Can I see proof that you have done it? And can I assess you to test how good you are with doing it? And that's why it's important that you must stop chasing certificates and chase the skills. You must also build a portfolio. You know Excel, you know Power BI, you know SQL. Do you have a portfolio that you can share with me and I can see the projects that you have worked on? And that tells me how good you are, the depth of your knowledge, the depth of your skills. Do you have a portfolio? If you don't have this, you have to build one. All right, recruiters across the globe, in the major economies, in Canada, in the UK, in the US, even in Nigeria. And I'll give you a story about somebody when we get there. All right, a gentleman who could, fresh out of the university, but he was able to get a job with an oil and gas company in Nigeria simply because he's an engineering graduate, but simply because he had the skills and he had projects to showcase that even though I'm an engineering graduate, see the financial model that I built. Have a look at my financial analysis. Look at these financial metrics that I track for this company. Okay, so there was proof to show that he could do it. He was assessed, passed through the interview phases, and he got the job eventually. And you must also share your learning journey on LinkedIn. Very important. So you're a financial analyst, or you want to transition into financial analytics. However, your LinkedIn page says something totally different. So what shows me as a recruiter who wants to hire you, I've seen your CV, it looks good. I go to your LinkedIn, I don't see anything financial analytics. All I'm seeing is motivational quotes and inspirational messages. All right, so that's a mismatch. So you must have a persona on social media, especially on LinkedIn, that is more professional and matches the person that you say you are. Very important. A is what? Applying to jobs. You want to transition into financial analytics, especially as a financial analyst, especially in the major economies. You must apply like your life depends on it. I've seen so many people who come to us and say, Adeza, I want to start my journey. However, I've been applying to jobs over the last few years and I cannot get a job. How many jobs do you apply to? I apply to 2 jobs per day, 5 jobs per day. That would never cut it for you. You'd never get the opportunities you want if that's the number of jobs you apply to. So you must apply and put in the volume. However, when putting in the volume, you must ensure that it is not just volume, but quality volume. Okay, so you're not using one CV to apply to 100 jobs and you say that, oh, Adeza said we should put out the volume and I'm putting out the volumes. No, you tailor your CV to every job application. And that is quality volume. So you see a financial analyst role, they need somebody that can build financial models. You have that. They need somebody that can do this. You have it. And every single keyword they have in that job requirement, you tailor your CV to ensure that it matches that application for that particular job. So 100 applications will be 100 CVs. 200 applications will be 200 CVs. If you don't take it that way, you'd have very limited level of success when it comes to getting interview opportunities. And there are things you need to put in place that we work with you. We help you put that in place to ensure that when you put out applications, you get in positive feedback and positive outcomes at the end of the day. Number 2, you have to do something we call job matching, because recruiters do it for you. And that is why sometimes you send in an application and within 1 second or 2 seconds, you get a rejection email. Do you know why? Because there is a system called the ATS, the Applicant Tracking System. And that system would look for keywords on your CV. So maybe the job application, the job wants somebody who knows Microsoft Power BI. Okay? On your CV, you don't have Microsoft Power BI. Okay? Maybe you have Microsoft Excel. You don't have Power BI. What happens? You're going to lose percentage points for that. And at the end of the day, you might fall within 65% job match. which does not cut it for them. Maybe the mark is 85% or 80%. So you, before you even put in the application, you do something we call job matching. All right, and you don't do this by yourself, because looking at your CV, looking at the job application can be very tedious. So what do? You leverage different platforms that we would introduce you to. Platforms like JobScan, all right? JobScan, Jobalytics, and even ChatGPT. ChatGPT would do amazing stuff for you when it comes to job matching. And we show you the right type of prompts to get the right type of results. And the work is done literally. All the things you have to do will just be minimal, and you can put in quality applications out there. Okay. Now, once you've done your job matching and you've seen that I matched this job by 85%, you can go ahead and apply and expect positive outcomes. If not, you don't bother applying to that job. The next S is what? Selling yourself. The ability to sell yourself. And a lot of people fall short in this area. You don't know that interviews are opportunities for you to do what? Sell yourself. Okay. And for things as simple as introducing yourself, a lot of people don't know how to do this, how to introduce themselves, how to answer competency-based questions. Competency-based questions. And this particular area in interviews, the competency-based questions, they carry the highest mark. So when you're asked questions like, tell me about a time you have used Power BI to optimize a process in your previous role as a financial analyst. You don't just start by saying, oh, I use Power BI to track metrics and I was able to see profit. No, you don't start like that. You have to explain and construct your story using an approach called the STAR approach. And these are the things we teach you. S for situation. So you have to first establish the situation. Why did that project happen? Was the company making losses? Did they have problems financially? Why did you have to do that project? So you build your story from there. Then you go to T, which is task. What was required based on the situation? So let's assume, oh, the company was losing money and the company needed to do analysis to help them understand why they were losing money. So that's the task, to carry out an analysis to determine why the company was losing money. A is action. What did you do? What actions did you take? Not as a team, but as an individual. All right? You personalize it. What I did, the actions I took. I used Power BI. I first of all cleaned my data by taking it into Power Query, and I ensured I connected to. So you start to talk about the technical part of what you did, the profit margin, net profit margin percent, and all those things you saw from your analysis. And what was the results, the R? So after your analysis and you recommended, just like Jane recommended to us and said that this company really needs to stop giving discounts. When the company stopped giving discounts, what was the result? Did it improve their revenue? Did it improve the profit margin? So we teach you how to answer questions using techniques, different techniques and different approach, so that you are coherent and you are able to sell yourself better during interviews. Now, you want to get a job, and this is where Tenalytics does its best work, preparing you, ensuring that you are able to build a portfolio for every single program that you register with us at Tenalytics. You build a portfolio, an online web portfolio that showcases all the projects you've worked on, and the link to your portfolio would be on your CV. And of course, your journey is shared on LinkedIn. We work with you to tailor your CV to every single job application. And also, we show you how to do your job match every single time before you apply to a job. And interview is one of the places we do the best work, helping you prepare for interviews. You have an interview, we prepare you for an interview. Somebody saying, do you need to have a background in finance? Big no. Zero experience. You don't need any experience in finance. You don't need any experience in accounting. You don't need any experience at all. You'll be taught all the rudiments and fundamentals of accounting and the different finance packages that you need to understand. Okay, you don't need to have any experience to get this done. All right. Now, to get a job, you need to do this SAS. And it's always good to see people who have gone ahead of you and they've been able to succeed. And I told you about a gentleman, engineering graduate, currently works in an oil and gas company in Nigeria by completing our financial analytics program. And that's him over here, Solomon Ilodigwe. Solomon Ilodigwe got a job in Kegos Group, Nigeria, an oil and gas company, fresh out of the university, engineering graduates, joined the financial analytics program. So this answers your question when you ask, do I need any experience in finance? Absolutely no, you don't need any experience, right? And Chika also joined the financial analytics program, currently works as a financial analyst with one of the largest financial services company in the UK. And I want all of you to listen to Chika when you receive this slide. Click on the link and listen to him and listen to his experience and what he was able to do and how he was able to transition and the role Tenalytics played. And in his words, he simply said, Tenalytics has been a blessing. And that's simply, for those in the UK, you'll understand how difficult it can be to land a job, especially a job that has career progression. And that's why it's important that you need to know the right type of skills to learn. Number one, you need to know how to sell yourself. In the UK, one of the major things you want to take note of is confidence during interviews. Confidence during interviews, okay? I'm very familiar with the UK market. I'm based in Manchester in the UK. And I'll tell you, you go for an interview, the moment they see that you are fidgeting, you're not sure of yourself, that's it for you, all right? And these are the things we show you how to do. How do you build your confidence and so on and so forth, all right? You have Akintayo. Akintayo got a job recently as a CFO. Got a job as a CFO because people always ask, is it that people in Nigeria don't get jobs? Is it only people in the UK, in Canada, and so on? So I said I must bring people that have gotten jobs in Nigeria and showcase them to you, all right? So you have Akintayo, who got a job as a CFO. Amazing, fantastic salary. And I know this because he shared the offer letter with me. It comes with a full, an SUV, company car, also comes with an amazing salary per annum. Anybody earning that salary in Nigeria would not japa from Nigeria. Absolutely amazing. Now, what did Akintayo say? He said that his interview prep with Nene, who is the financial analytics trainer at Tenalytics, made the difference. And that was what got him to secure the job. All right, I'm going to show you Nene, who is one of the facilitators for the program. All right, and that's Akintayo. And of course, before we move on, I want you to listen to Solomon. I want you to listen to Solomon, and I want you to listen to Grace as well. Grace said joining the financial analytics program was her best decision during in 2023. Okay, so let's listen to Grace very quickly, and then we'll listen to Solomon. And I can see people are asking, how much is the program? I'm going to go there next, and then we start to wrap up our session. I need to take questions from you too, because I'm sure you have questions. So let's listen to Grace very quickly. All right, I'm just going to click on the link, and it takes me to the YouTube. All right, so let me share the audio so you can hear what Grace is saying. Just listen to Grace and listen to her experience very quickly. And at the end of this session, feel free, come to Tenalytics YouTube page, and you can listen to all the amazing professionals that have gone through Tenalytics, secured jobs, and are doing amazing stuff. Okay, so let's listen to Grace. It's just 1 minute. It's a minute, 18 seconds video. So let's listen to Grace.
One of the greatest things that happened to me in 2023 was being a part of Tenalytics. My name is Grace Diaolu, and I am one of the financial analytic students of the September cohort of Tenalytics. The last 4 months has been mind-blowing, drilling, tasking, and stretching. Here, I was able to learn advanced Excel skills, Power BI, SQL, data visualizations, data analysis, how to analyze data, how to interpret data, how to make presentations. I was also taught how all the skills that I will need to become a certified financial analyst. To cap it all, we went into the field. We had to take live case studies. We got a company and I was able to build financial model for that company. I gave recommendations. We had decisions. We had to make decisions for the company and it was just fantastic. And not only that, we had mentorship sections. At the time you were going to get your job, Tenalytics is going to make preparations for you. And if you're here and you're seeking to transit, you're seeking to scale up in the year 2024, please look into Tenalytics. Let Tenalytics be your go-to plug. Thank you and see you.
All right, so that's Grace, very enthusiastic about her journey with us at Tenalytics. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we're just quickly going to listen. Solomon's one is very short. It's about 51 seconds or thereabouts, and then we move on.
Hello, my name is Ilodige Solomon. I'm currently a financial analyst with Kegos Group. I've grown from, say, infancy to being a full-time professional under the guide of Tenalytics. I dare say that the facilitators did a thorough job in equipping us with the skill needed out there, and the community is such a great one to belong to. My journey with Tenalytics has been amazing. I've moved from literally novice to I would say advanced level at this point. I know I still have a lot to learn, but it's been nothing short of amazing all the way to this point. I really recommend the program any day, anytime.
Right, so that's Solomon, fantastic gentleman, engineering graduate turned financial analyst. And of course, Akintayo, I talked about Akintayo, and there are so many other professionals, but like I said, I'm not going to bore you too much with all the testimonials, but these are people who have started their journey, they completed their programs, and they've gotten jobs and are doing amazing stuff in the industry. So for anybody who is interested to transition, why haven't you started? That's the question we always ask. Why haven't you started? Right? And for other programs that we have absolutely amazing professionals from across the globe. And like I said, take out time, listen to the amazing story. Somebody like Bernard, who got a scholarship, Tenalytics wrote his recommendation for him. He got the scholarship and also got a job in his university as a data analyst in Canada. Maureen also works in Canada with TELUS, one of the largest telecommunications company, after completing our program as well. So many professionals. Shade also got a job, very first job in the UK, sponsorship, fully sponsored. Same with Ikmat. Teni, who is a lawyer and transitioned into a business analyst. So read these amazing people's story and you get to learn one or two things from them, starting that journey with us and doing amazing stuff over the last few months. Okay, so but let's show you what do you need to learn specifically, the skills. And this is where you take your pen and paper and you write the skills you need to learn, okay, to become a financial analyst. What do you need to learn? First of all, financial analysts command some of the highest salaries across different regions. In the UK, on the average, about £51,000. In Canada, almost 70,000 Canadian dollars, 69,900 to be specific. And in the US, over 74,000 US dollars. And what do you learn as a financial analyst? You start with problem solving. So you need to know how to identify problems. So you see those questions we were answering, you would come up with those questions based on the problem the company is facing, right? And if our financial analytics program comprises of 3 major parts. Data analytics, because you can't be a financial analyst without data analytics. So that's number 1. You're also going to learn investment banking, and financial and corporate finance, okay? Corporate, let's call it C, finance. So these are the three major areas you're going to learn. And problem solving is where you break the problems into different parts. You analyze those problems using different techniques, get into the root cause, like using techniques like the 5 whys, the McKinsey model, the prioritization matrix. You leverage all these techniques to ensure that you are using the right tools, you have the right data, you are following the right framework in solving specific problems. Then you move into Excel, which is that foundation in data analytics. Excel gives you the background, all right? It's like you building a house and you are starting by building the foundation. You know, you are building a solid building, okay? And then you move into Power BI. We use Power BI today, but we just did something very, very, you know, very, very little. We use just a fraction of the power of Power BI today. But Power BI is an amazing data visualization tool that will help you build amazing visuals, dashboards to look at the position of the company at specific periods and helps you take decisions as well, right? SQL, structured query language, SQL, and this is where you understand the language to interact with databases, okay? And this is the data analytics part of your financial analytics journey. So once you've learned this, the amazing stuff is you can also apply to jobs as data analyst, learning problem solving Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And then you move into accounting fundamentals. For the person who asks that, do I need experience the other time? No, you don't. All right, because you learn all of these things, accounting fundamentals, financial analysis. You heard Grace, the video I played, talking about building financial models for real companies, building it from scratch, giving recommendations, doing presentations, and that's what your projects would look like and your internship would also look like. Because remember, the goal is to get you a job. And we talked about the fact that recruiters would want to see that you have done it before. So show me your financial model. What have you built? Talk about your experience. And without the experience solving projects, building stuff, you really can't say anything when it comes to that interview. No recruiter would ask you, how many times did you write your exam to pass your certification and so on and so forth. They want to know that you can do the job on day one. You're going to build financial models from scratch for companies that currently exist and for startups that does not exist. So you build the best case, the worst case, the base case, and so on and so forth. You learn valuation. You learn sensitivity and scenario building and analysis, and then ChatGPT for analytics. And this is where AI comes into your role as a tech professional, because you must understand how to leverage the power of ChatGPT. You can't run away from it in today's world. And organizations are looking for people that have skills in ChatGPT called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering. And what does this mean? It means you know the right type of prompts to enter into ChatGPT to get the right type of results. All right? And we teach you how to do this. And how long does it take? 4 months. 3 months in class, 3 months project-based classes, and 1 month internship. 1 month internship. The internship is designed for you to work on a real life scenario, a real life project where you get to work with other stakeholders. So it's a cross-functional team that you're going to work with, collaborating to solve problems together. You'd work with data scientists, data analysts, and so on and so forth. And these are the things you need to learn to become a financial analyst, a financial analytics professional. And people make the mistake of thinking that the only job I can apply to is financial analyst once I learn financial analytics, but that's not the case. And there are so many other career paths, all still within the frame and the ecosystem of financial analytics. For example, commercial analyst, financial planning and analysis. One of the popular roles you'd find in the UK and also in Canada, it is called FP and A, financial planning and analysis professional. This is a role you can apply to as a financial analyst. You can apply to roles as commercial analyst. You can apply to roles as sales analyst and so many other roles. And there was a lady who even got a job as a market data analyst. Market data analyst after completing our financial analytics program. And I'll show you the lady very quickly. I think I skipped it when I was going past. I said I was going to show you guys to show you that there are different aspects of the job application process and part of what we show you. And that's Bumi. Bumi Obidigo got a job as a market data analyst after completing the financial analytics program. So your job is not just going to be financial analyst. And this is what would show you how to search in the broader ecosystem to get even more jobs outside just the financial analyst title. Okay, so again, I'll showcase some of the dashboards our participants have built over the last programs. And this is where what I call proof of work. Okay, so this is a previous financial model built by one of our participants. All right, this is another one for a company. Now, how does this help you? It helps you when organizations would ask you, tell me about a time. Okay, you say you can build financial model. Can you walk me through a financial model you built and what were the things you noticed when building a financial model? So here you can see this is a base case. And from that filter, you can change it to the best case and everything here will change. You can change it to the worst case and everything here will change. And these are dashboards built by participants that have gone through the Tenalytics Financial Analytics program. You can see that 5-year financial model. Okay, this is another one, the sales performance analysis, medium-term financial model. You can see this, the name the participant gave it is called Jabba Bets, your path to financial freedom. All right, and these are the amazing stuff you're going to build as a participant. And you see yourself move. So you can see this. You see yourself move from just being a total beginner to somebody who knows how to build models, who knows how to do financial analysis. And there was a lady who she was in the US, joined the program and had a friend who had a startup. He had funding from Techstars in the US. And he needed to create models, a financial model for his new startup. And he was just discussing with this lady who was in our program. I'm looking for somebody who can create a model. Can you give me recommendations? Do you know anybody? And she said, yes, there is somebody that can do it. And that person is me. I can do it for you. Guess what? The lady built the financial model for her friend. He insisted on paying her for building it. This lady went ahead to build financial models for 10 other companies, referred to her by that same friend that she built the financial model for, because he never knew that she had the skill. And that was how the lady moved into financial consulting in the US, providing the service, building financial models for organizations, and so on and so forth. And these are other models built by our participants across different programs. So why do you train with Tenalytics? Apart from the amazing stuff that we do in terms of the delivery of the training, in terms of your project, your internship, we also have amazing track record of achievements in helping people to transition, all right? Getting their first jobs in the tech ecosystem by providing all those things I showed you earlier, okay? And over the last year, 2023 alone, we helped over 850 people to transition from the classroom to getting their job across the globe in the tech ecosystem, in the UK, in the US, and we have some of the testimonials on the slide. So when you receive it, please take out time, listen to these professionals, go to our YouTube page, follow us on Instagram, and see the amazing stuff that we've been doing. So you're somebody in the UK, you are in Canada, you are in the US, you are in Nigeria, you want to work remotely, get jobs remotely, but you haven't been getting those jobs. You are probably doing something, you're in a job currently that you really don't want to do, but you have no choice because you have to pay your bills. But I'll tell you for a fact that getting a career path that has good career progression, fantastic salary is the way to go. And at these opportunities, there is the demand there. The demand is just too much. And organizations are actually complaining that they don't have people with the right skills to get these jobs. And that's why it's important that Africans and more people in the Black community should get into the tech ecosystem. All right. We have the amazing curriculum. You work with the best professionals in the game, professionals in amazing organizations and in different industries. Blended learning approach. Your class is only on Saturday. You don't join classes every day or every weekend. Only on Saturday, you have your class. On Sunday, you have something we call the Watch Me Do It videos. Watch Me Do It. So you get videos that you watch on Sundays and you don't have to join a live class, meaning that it's a blended learning approach. So on Saturdays, you get to have your live class and work on projects. All right. And on Sundays, you receive your Watch Me Do It videos. You watch those videos, understand the concept, and come back to class on Saturday to work on a real life project. So for those who are slow learners, you have the opportunity on Sunday to catch up. All right. You have opportunity to catch up and you don't have a program that bombards you with too many content, too many classes that you get so overwhelmed. This is how we get you jobs, additional employability services. And I'm going to talk about this and then I'll move on to the pricing and the internship as well. Talked about the internship already. Every program comes with an internship that helps you gain the real life work experience. All right. So that when you get that job during the interviewing process and they're asking you questions, once you've talked about the projects you worked on in class, you cap it up with your internship on the project you worked with, building financial models for a specific organization. And how we help you get jobs, like I said, is on 3 levels. The first level is your CV. We help you work on your CV, review your CV, because if you don't have a good CV, you cannot get a job. Organizations have something called the ATS. I talked about that already. The applicant tracking system. You need to know how to tailor your CV and how to also do job matching, because your CV is you yourself in paper representation. I talked about the LinkedIn, having fantastic LinkedIn profile that matches you as a financial analyst and not you as a motivational speaker, because the organizations that will hire you would want to see that you actually talk about financial analytics, you do stuff, you put your project online and so on and so forth. Upwork, we help you build an Upwork profile if you don't have one. If you have one, we help you optimize. Navigating the job market. And this is where you are in the UK, you are in Canada, you are in the US. You don't know where to apply. You don't know how to apply to jobs. You don't know how to get organizations that can sponsor you, give you your certificate of sponsorship. How do you even get to apply for a Tier 2 visa? How do you get jobs? And this is what we discuss during navigating the job market sessions that are going to have. Job and interview preparation. You have an interview. We work with you to prepare you for the interview. Recommendation and references. When you eventually get the job, organizations would want to confirm who can stand for you as a referee, who can vouch for the skills that you have, who can vouch for you, and we write the most compelling references for you. We move to level 2, where you have your weekly mentorship sessions every single Thursday. You're going to see me every Thursday, the co-founder of Tenalytics, and other professional industry experts to come talk to you about different topics, how to negotiate salaries, how to apply to jobs, the type of trends you need to take note of. You should be aware of what is going on in the industry. So you have these experts that you have the opportunity to ask questions. And the mentors are the people that we didn't have when we're transitioning that made it a whole lot difficult. With a mentor, things are a lot easier for you when transitioning. And of course, we stand as your mentors and we have on-the-job support for 1 month. So you get a job and you need our support for 1 month to ensure that you are able to keep the job and you're able to do all the things you need to do on the job. We work with you to ensure that we prepare you within a month to make sure that you don't have challenges, have a soft landing, and you're able to pick up immediately after 1 month on the job. And we've had instances where we've people get scared when they get their first job, especially outside, for people in the UK, people in Canada, in the US, across Europe, in Poland, Norway, and you get your first project and you're a bit scared. I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do. All we need to do is to have a meeting with you, all right? Tell you what you need to do, how to start, what you need to ask, the type of questions, and within a month, you are confident in delivering. So we provide that for you. And the final level, which is level 3, is our promise to you. 1 month after the program, it's a guarantee that you're going to get an interview. A guarantee that you get an interview 1 month after the program. And this comes from so many things that we are doing, especially in level 1, that gets you the interview. And we have partnerships with recruitment agencies, Korn Ferry, Robert Half, Hays, and so on and so forth. Across Canada, Robert Half is a partner, Hays is a partner in the UK, Korn Ferry in the US, and this brings the opportunities a lot faster for all our participants. I talked about the internship already, which you do for 1 month, honing your skills. All right, and you're going to be trained by the best in the industry. And this is Nene that Akintayo was talking about, that got a job as a CFO. He said Nene's interviewing preparation, the interview preparation by Nene was fantastic. And that helped him to get the job. And Nene is a professional. She has over 6 years experience. She's worked with Denon, with KPMG back in Nigeria, Bank of America in the UK, and currently works with Zelos. And Zelos is an authorized licensee of Nike. She works with Zelos in the UK, and she also has a master's degree in international business. And this will be one of your facilitators. We bring in the best of the best, like I said. You also have Jenas, who is an assistant manager with Coca-Cola Bottling Company. All right. Jenas is also going to work with you, over 7 years experience, and Jenas will be one of your facilitators. And you have Teniola. Teniola works in the digital consulting department of one of the big fours in the UK, over 5 years experience, and Teniola is going to show you how to build amazing financial models. Okay, Teniola has also worked in Nigeria in KPMG before moving to the UK to work with another big four company in the UK. And Teniola will be one of your facilitators. So you have the best people working with you to help train you to become a financial analyst. And our next cohort starts on the 3rd of February, 2024. And we are asking you, why haven't you registered? Okay, the registration is closing very fast, and our discounts are fast closing as well. For those of you that joined us maybe last week in a masterclass or during the week in a masterclass, we had discounts available for 20 people, but the discounts we have is only available for 10. All right, we don't have discounts available for 20 anymore. We have just for 10. So we've gone down to the last 10 slots for the discount for the financial analytics program. So you want to be a part of the program, this is the time for you to register. And what's the discount? Instead of paying the full amount of $750, you have a $150 discount and get to pay just $600. And taking advantage of the discount also gives you the opportunity of making your payments in 2 installments of $450 to get into the class, and then $150 1 month after the program commences. Okay, and if you're paying in pounds, instead of paying $625, you get to pay just £500, $375 first payment to get you into the class, and then $125 1 month after the program commences. You're paying in Naira, 720,000, 540,000 first installment, and then 180,000 1 month after the program commences. And this is what it takes to be a part of our financial analytics program. And like I said, we are down to the last 10 people to join the cohort. So you want to start your financial analytics journey, you want to get into tech, you are across the major economies in the UK, in the US, in Canada, you don't know how to get started, you've been trying to apply to get those jobs. this is the best time for you to get your journey started. Okay, so how do you make payments? I'm just going to show you that very quickly. We'll take questions and then we call it a day. You see the link you have at the down left corner. All you have to do is click on this link, and then it takes you to our Tenalytics enrollment page. All right, and this is where you make payment to be a part of the program. All right, remember, the discount is available just for the next 10 people that will be registering to be a part of the February cohorts. And if you're going to join in March, because some people would have, you know, you might have commitments in February and you can't start in February, you can take advantage of the discounts. Register today and defer your program till March. All right, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and make payments for that. Is this the only program available? Absolutely not. Faith, we have more programs, but this particular masterclass is specifically for the financial analytics program because the discount slot is, you know, closing very fast, and we need to close out on the program. Okay, so this is taking a while. I'm just going to reload. Shouldn't take this long. All right, and I'll just show you how you can go ahead and make payments. And I would love to take your questions. So keep the questions coming. Send your questions into the chat, and I'll take the questions one after the other. All right. Okay, so while this is coming up, what I'll do, so let's wait for the payments to come up. I'm not sure why it's taking so long now. Maybe, I don't know if it's my network. But my colleagues are also sending the links to the charts, okay? So you can access it in there. And you can, it doesn't matter where you are. You are in Ghana, you are in South Africa, you are in somewhere in Belgium, in Paris, in the UK, in Canada. You can make payments using the link, and it does the automatic conversion for you. All right, I'll quickly just show you the platform. When you join the program, you've registered, you've made payments. How do you learn? Okay, how do you learn? And I'll show you the classroom very quickly, the platform where you have all your materials. And for those that started their journey in January, this, because we have a cohort that started in January, okay? So you see what they are doing in class so far. So you can see the financial analytics 2401, which is 2024-01 January. Let's see what they are doing. I'll click on their classroom and we'll dive into the classroom to see what they are doing. Okay, so one of the first things you see is book an interview session. All right, and this is where if you are in this class, you have an interview. All you have to do is come here and click on this link and select a date that you'd like to have an interview prep. And somebody would meet with you on this day to help you prepare for that interview. All right, so that's the very first thing you'd see. Now, going further into the class, you see the job application tracker. Remember, I talked about volume of the jobs that you need to apply to, but not just volume, but quality volume. So you must also track what you're applying to, the number of jobs, so that you have that accountability. You are accountable to ensure you are applying to those jobs. All right. So you have the job application tracker, which also has a report. There's a reporting side to it. So we send you a message to say, hi, Jane, we've seen that you've applied to just 20 jobs and you were meant to apply to 50 jobs. So you need to up your game a little bit. And that's the application tracker. And how do we keep your LinkedIn profile up to date? Keep your LinkedIn profile buzzing with financial analytics related content. We have a challenge called the 90 Days Consistency Challenge. And this is where you do what? You go on LinkedIn and ensure that you document all the things you are learning step by step. All right. But when you start the class, let's go all the way down. You have your onboarding materials, which includes your welcome kits. The welcome kit has your timetable and everything you need to be a part of the class. Your timetable, you need to download Excel, install Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Excel, PostgreSQL. You get to download them using the welcome kits, all right? And then you have your very first class, problem solving. Now, the beauty is, even if you miss a class, you have the class recording. Every class has a recording. So you have an emergency on a Saturday and you couldn't attend class on that day. All you have to do is click on the recording, and every single thing that was done, you have access to it. You have access to the class slides and all the class materials as well, okay? Your very first Excel class, you have, of course, you have a mentorship session, the very first mentorship session called goal setting, how to set your goal for the year. This is a January cohort. So right from the beginning, you need to know how to set your goal. Starting from day 1 to day 90, 3 months when you'll be doing your projects with us, and 1 month where you'll be doing your internship. You set your goal right from the beginning. So this is the session on goal setting. And then you have your very first Excel live class. Okay, again, you have the class materials, okay, the slides that you can always come back to. And I'm just going to click on this so that we can have a little bit of insight into what happens in class. Excel Live Class 1. You get to work on what? Cases. You don't just do things that are abstract. You work on what? Cases, case studies, case 1, case 2, and case 3. And you look at the case scenarios and provide answers to all the cases. Download your assignments, and then you download your data set, and then you also have assignments, all right? So that's for the very first Excel live class. And of course, if for any reason you miss out on this class, you have the class recording. All you need to do is come in here and you have access to the recording, okay? After your live class, you have your second Watch Me Do It videos. And like I said, the Watch Me Do It videos are those bite-sized videos that you get to watch, learn the concepts on a Sunday at your own convenience. And after watching these videos and practicing, the following Saturday, you have another live class on Excel where you work on a project. All right, so let's see what happened in the second live class. I'll go to the slide and you'd see the material. It's also another case study, all right? And this case study is for a company called Agri Limited. It's a supply chain analysis case study. So you're not built, like I mentioned, you're not just learning by watching videos, you are learning by working on projects. And if you listen to what Grace said in the YouTube video, they were drilled and stretched by working on projects and by also working on real life case studies. You're going to provide recommendations. You're going to provide insights. You're going to present. You have presentations as well, all right? And of course, you can see you had another mentorship session on tech career transitioning. And the most recent mentorship session, which is the body mentorship, was on identifying how to negotiate salaries for a new job, all right? You have Excel Live Class 3, and of course, these guys are just completing their Excel Live Class 3, and on Saturday, they are moving into Power BI, all right? So that's the amazing stuff, the amazing way you learn with us at Tenalytics. Every single thing you need is always here on the platform, okay? So let's go back to the enrollment page, and I'm just going to, I think it should come up now, right? And I'll show you how to make payments, and then I'll check the charts to see if we have questions. Is data science class still open? Yes, it's still your banner, but I tell you for a fact that it's fast closing as well. I think the data engineering discount is still also available. Okay, the data engineering discount is still also available, but you need to register very fast. Financial analytics only has 10 more slots, and then we are closing it for the rest of the year. Okay. Right, I think it's just a network issue. It's just a network issue, but all you have to do is, like I said, Okay, so it's up now. This is the Tenalytics Enrollment Center, like I said, and this is where you get to make your payments. Okay, now I want to register for financial analytics. All right, if I scroll all the way down, I get to see non-Naira card payments, meaning you want to pay in dollars, you want to pay in pounds, you want to pay in any other currency, you get to use this link. So you see the link for financial analytics. It's also within the category of HR, data science, business analysis, because they're all the same fees. If you want to make the full payment, you click on full payments. You want to make a part payment, you click on part payment. So if I click on part payment, for example, it takes me into where I can start to make my payments, and I can enter the first installments depending on your currency. Okay, it will show me the currency in pounds because of my location. All right, if you're in Canada, you see the currency in Canadian dollars. If you're in the US, you see it in US dollars. If you're in Nigeria, you see it in Naira. All right, and for those paid in Naira, you can either pay using this platform or you can pay using the Paystack option. So there are multiple payment options for you to make payments. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. For those who also want to do a direct transfer, you have the opportunity to do that. Everybody's asking, is the class open? Is it open? The classes will close very soon. And I tell you, for this week, after this weekend, I can bet you that all the discounted slots will be gone for the February cohorts. Okay, so this is the best time to get into the program. So if I want to make the very first payment, all I need to do is I come here and I just simply enter the amount 375. That's the first payment I want to make, and I click on reserve a seat. Okay, and it takes me here. I enter my email, enter my full name, enter my phone number, click on proceed. Okay, and then it takes me to where I can get to make my payments. I think I'm just having some network challenges, and that's why this is coming up. So you enter your details and you're able to make payments to be in the program. All right. Now, what if I want to pay in Naira or I want to pay in any other currency? I can pay in Naira using this option. The Naira card payment, you can pay using Paystack. And all you have to do is click on full or first part payment, and it takes you into the Paystack platform. I go to where I have financial analytics, click on that, and I can select either full payments or I can select part payments. Okay, click on add to bag, click on checkout, and you enter your details, first name, last name, email, phone number, enter your phone number. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in the Maldives, in Malawi, enter that, review and pay, and then you can get to make payments. But this option does the conversion for you in Naira, okay? And this is the Paystack option. Now, any of the options you use and you get to make payments, ensure that you're going to get an automated receipt into your email, okay? If you pay using the Paystack, you get an automated receipt. If you pay using the main stack, you also receive the form for you to fill automatically. If you do a direct transfer, ensure that you take a screenshot of your transfer. For those of you that might want to pay into our Fidelity Bank account in Naira, you can do that as well. And you send your payment to the bank account. And all you have to do is take a screenshot and go to the top of this page, and you see the form, the link that says upload your receipts. Click on the link, upload your receipts, and fill out the form. Okay, and this is where, for those who want to continue that program in March, but take advantage of the discounts, when filling the form, you indicate, all right? So you fill the form, your email, type of payment, you click on next. I'll just show you what you need to do. Click on next, fill all the details, click on next, and then upload the screenshots if you did a direct transfer or you made payments using Paystack or Mainstack. Upload your screenshots, click on next, and then next, you see the option that says, when do you want to start? What cohort do you intend to start? You can select 3rd of February for those that be, have the opportunity to start in February, or you can select 2nd of March for those that would like to start on the 2nd of March. All right, and that's how you indicate. We get the details, confirm your payment, and we send you a welcome kit. The welcome kit contains all the things you need, all right, to be a part of the class. Can someone pair with a friend? Absolutely, you can. You can pair with a friend, and if you bring in somebody, you get a discount. Okay, if you bring in somebody, so you register with a friend and they recommend that you came with a friend referral, you get a discount eventually. All right. Elijah would sort that out for you. So for somebody like you, WH, all you can do, so it depends on how you pay. And this is for somebody, if you come with somebody, you get that discount, all right? And if you pay in Naira, it's a 20,000 Naira discount. If you pay in dollars, it's a $20 discount. If you pay in pounds, it's a 20 pounds discount. Depending on the currency you pay, you get the corresponding discounts, okay? So I'm going to take questions. So Taiwo, what you do, you want to pay euros, no problem at all. All you have to do is go to the link over here, and what you'd see, instead of seeing pounds, you'd either see dollars or you'd see euros, depending on your region. So if you make payments in euros, you'd see the conversion in dollars. All right, so this particular program is $600, for example. In pounds, it is 498 pounds. With the current rates, it's 498 pounds. So if you are paying in euros, you would see the corresponding conversion in dollars. So if you are paying, maybe you want to pay the full amount of $600, that could be around maybe 530-something euros or thereabout, but you'd see the conversion in there for you, and then you can go ahead and make the payment, okay? So we don't do the conversion. The conversion is done automatically on the system based on the rates, the prevailing rates online that anybody can check for those current currencies, all right? So that's pretty much how the program goes, and if you also want to do a direct transfer to our pound account, you can do that as well. You want to do a direct transfer to pounds. If you're in the UK, you can do that. And that's the pound account. All these details would also be shared in your emails. You have the slides, you have the details in the slides, you have the link in the slides. And please ensure that you are a part of the first 20 people to get registered and get your journey started in February 2023, okay? So let me take questions in the next 5 minutes, and we can end the session at 9:30, okay? Take questions in the next 5 minutes and end the session at 9:30. So if you have a question, please, you can raise up your hand and I'll call you up to speak. Remember, discount is for the first 10 people to register from this particular session, not from. As soon as we are done with the 10, the discounted slot is gone, closed completely. You would have to make the full payment, okay? And registration for this cohort closes on Wednesday, the 31st. So even if you come with your full payment after Wednesday, the registration would have closed by then. It's either you join the March cohort or we can't take you into the program anymore, okay? So feel free, read all the amazing testimonials and watch all the amazing videos of all the professionals. I think I clicked on something, okay? So let's take questions before we call it a day. If you need any more information, amounts or whatever the case might be, you can get that from the same link, that I shared with you guys, okay? So just go to the same link that I shared with you. And let me just share that once more. This same link, the Tenalytics Enrollment Center. If you click on Get Access to Brochure, all the brochures of the programs, you have them here. Data Analytics, I have it, you have it here. And you can access the brochure, okay? You can access the brochure and see all the details of the program, every single thing, what the program entails, the amount, The amount for the data analytics and financial analytics are the same. Okay, so you can get this from here, or you can also go to our website. All right, you can also go to our website, tenalytics.io. And from the website, you also have access to all these details. All right, if you go to learn, instructor-led courses, okay, you see all the different programs. Okay, all the different programs. So instructor-led courses, business analysis, financial analytics, data analytics, HR analytics, full stack data science. So you can see the fees. Okay, and data analytics, for example, click on view course details, and you'd see all the details of the program, problem solving, Microsoft Excel, what you're going to learn under Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL, Tableau, Microsoft Fabric, you know, and so on. And then you have 3 months training, 1 month internship, and you can access the brochure from here. Okay, so you also have the brochure, can download the brochure from the website too. You just wait for it to complete loading, and then you have access to the brochure. So you have all the details. And what I want you to do, Olakunle, is don't just stop there. Go to YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us across all our channels. All right, so you can see the amazing stuff that we do as an organization. Okay, and if you have any questions you'd like to ask, you want to sit down with myself and Ifemena, a one-on-one session, what I can also advise you to do is register. So we have people that are not very sure in terms of, maybe I'm an engineering graduate, just like Solomon who got a job. I'm an engineering graduate. I don't know if financial analytics would be the best for me. You want to have that conversation with myself and with Ifemena. Take advantage of the discounts, register, secure your discounted slots. We have something we call clarity session every Tuesdays. Okay, so when filling that form I showed to you earlier, you'll see the option. I'll just go back to show you. When filling the form, you'd see the option that says, which program do you want to register for? So once you've secured your discounts and you've made payments to secure that slot, on Tuesday, you select, when filling the form, instead of selecting financial analytics, select I need to speak with a professional. Okay, and once you select I need to speak with a professional, we will receive the details and invite you on Tuesday. We have 2 sessions on Tuesday for the clarity session. The first one is at 2 p.m. West Africa time, and the second one is at 11 p.m. West Africa time. So if you are free at 2 p.m., maybe you're on lunch break or something, you can hop on the call, ask your questions, tell us what you think, and we guide you to selecting the right program. Okay? If you are busy during the day, in the evening at 11 p.m. West Africa time, we have another clarity session where perhaps you're back from work around that time, and then you join us, you ask your questions, and we put you, straight and guide you on selecting the right program eventually. That's what I'm saying, your banner. So when you click on the link, it's not going to show you euros. It's going to show you dollars. So it's like me being in Nigeria and I want to pay for a program in dollars. All right. I'll pay the corresponding conversion of that fee. Or I'm in Switzerland. I want to pay for a program in pounds. I'll pay the corresponding conversion. So while you're not going to see the payment in euros, you'll see it in dollars. And then you can, once you pay, it takes out the corresponding amount in your currency, euros. I don't know if you get the explanation, your banner. Okay, but if you have any other problems, either making payments or being a part of the program, just send us a message or send us an email. Somebody would respond to you. And here's our email, enquiries@tenalytics.io. Or you can send us messages to any of these numbers. and somebody would work with you to help you out. Okay, so Priscilla, you might want to take note of Leslie, your banner, and work with her to, ensure you're able to get that sorted out. Okay, so your banner, you might want to send us a message or send us an email. And maybe if you drop your message with any one of us, somebody will reach out to you to drop your email with any one of us. Somebody will reach out to you to sort you out and show you how to go ahead and make the payments. All right. So I'll see if we have more questions and then we call it a day. Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions already. No other question in the chats available. How much is data? I think I've answered that. Okay, I think I've answered that. All right, I think I've answered all the questions pretty much. Okay, so Leslie, Priscilla has also sent in her phone number. Just send Priscilla a message on WhatsApp, or just, you can drop your email. Priscilla will reach out to you and work with you to ensure that you're able to register for the program. All right, guys, so you get the recording, you get the slides and all the other materials, and you want to get started in tech. You want to change the narrative in 2024. If you're trying to get a job, trying to move into the tech ecosystem, you have a lot of craziness happening in the UK today with regards to dependents and the health and care being cancelled and so many other things going on. The only area that is still open for opportunities is the tech ecosystem. Same with Canada, same with the US, and even across the globe in Africa as well. So if you want to get into tech, you want to become a financial analyst or any of our other programs, this is the best time for you to start. Okay? And I look forward to seeing you in class either on the 3rd of February or the 2nd of March, depending on when you want to start. What about me with no tech knowledge? Faith, I've said it so many times and I can't overemphasize. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. Okay, zero tech knowledge, zero computer science background, totally zero, nothing in tech. So how did I transition? That's the question. The same way you are going to transition, Faith, the same way you would even transition a lot better, because you are learning from the best. You are learning from us with all our extensive experience over the years. The mistakes we made, you're not going to make those mistakes, all right? Because we put things in place to ensure that you are home and dry. You don't need experience. How do you get the experience if you don't have the skill? I don't know if that makes sense to you, Faith. So you need to learn the skill. You work on projects during your classes, and you also join the internship. And this will give you the experience that you need. And for anybody in Tenalytics that has gotten a job, that's the same process. That's the same framework. Okay? So if you don't get started, you're always going to remain at that position where, how will I start with no knowledge? Nobody started with any knowledge in tech. We all started from ground zero. We learned, got a job, built our experience and knowledge base, continued learning, and even till today, I am still learning even after a decade in the tech ecosystem. Okay? How do I know the tech field to register for? Register and make payments for the financial analytics. When filling the form, select I need to speak with a professional. And then I'll sit down with you on Tuesday and guide you on what to select, Faith. When you select something today, that's not set in stone, okay? You can change it up to a day before the class starts. You can even change it a week into the class. So let's assume you've started financial analytics with us and you feel that I want to join data science or I want to join data analytics. You can do that even after a week starting your training with us. Okay, so don't bother yourself too much with all the how will I put it, the over analysis. All right, register, make payment for the financial analytics. When you're filling the form, select I need to speak with a professional, and then myself, Efemena, would work with you to help you select. It's not a private session. You'd have a few other people, but it's not a large class like this. You have maybe 5, 10 people, 15 people in that session. And if we have 15 people, we break it into 2, out being 1, FMNL being 1. So we reduce the time it will take to answer all those questions. And from the questions we answer from other people, you get to learn from their own questions as well. So it's a very fantastic, session we have every Tuesdays, and it's called the Clarity Session. Okay, so I'm going to drop my pen and also drop my mic at this point in time. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has stayed from the beginning up until this moment on a Friday evening. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'd love to see you in class. If you have any questions, anything related to tech, follow me on LinkedIn. If I see your connection, I'm going to accept it. Send me a message if you have questions. I'll respond on LinkedIn. Send those messages across any of our social media platforms, and one of my colleagues will respond to you. And if you have a friend or a brother or a colleague or a sister or a family member that you think can benefit from these two, send it to them. Okay? And that might just be the gift you'll be giving to somebody this year. All right? Thank you very much, guys. And I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things spending the last 2.5 hours with me. All right? I'll accept your LinkedIn request, Faith. Don't worry, no worries at all. How do we get your LinkedIn? Just type in my name, Adeza Suleiman. It pops up. Adeza Suleiman, you'd see me, it pops up, and just send me a connection, I'll accept it. And guys, again, this goes back to having the importance of LinkedIn, all right? Everybody on the call would want to check out Analytics, want to check out Adeza, want to check out FMNA. That's the same way recruiters will check you out before they recruit you. The way you want to check us out before you make payments, recruiters will check you out before they recruit you. And that's why LinkedIn optimization is very, very, very important. All right. So I'll look forward to your requests. I'll accept all of them. You have messages, shoot your messages. I'll be very happy to engage you. Okay. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And until we meet again in another maybe masterclass, I hope to see you again sometime soon. If you have a friend that is interested, Faith, reach out to the friend. Let your friend also join on Tuesday when we have the Clarity session. Okay? So when you receive the link to the Clarity, send it to your friend. All right? Registration ends on Wednesday. So it ends on Wednesday. So anybody who doesn't register before Wednesday, that's till March. All right? So, yeah. The reason why we close registration is because you also need to prepare. You need to download and install your applications, Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL. If you want to pay on Friday, you are going to put yourself under pressure. And let me tell you what the pressure would look like. So you want to download and prepare for all those things on the day before the class starts. We also have an onboarding session. All right, so you might miss that onboarding session. Well, you can watch the recording of the onboarding because everything we do is we record it. So if you miss the live, you can watch the recording. But I'd advise you, Faith, you want to make payments before Friday, all right? Because you'll be putting yourself under too much pressure, okay? So, yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for joining one more time, and cheers, everybody. Have a fantastic, fantastic, restful weekend ahead.